So there are many medicines that are that can have an impact on memory and thinking. And this is tricky. They're actually all written down on a list that we call the Beers list. And that's right, named after Dr. Beers. It's not the menu at the local pub. So the Beers list is a list of medicines we have to be very cautious about in folks as they age, partially because of effects on the brain, but also the Beers list contains medicines that could harm your kidneys or your liver or your heart as you age. Now, sometimes we have to use a Beers list medicine because we have nothing else. And sometimes we say, well, the risk of not using it is worse than the risk of using it. But recognizing those medicines and having them addressed. So right now we're doing a study, again, funded by your tax dollars, funded by the National Institutes of Health, called the INCREASE study. And what we're trying to do is increase people's brain power. And how we're doing that is a doc, myself, frequently, or one of the others, sits down with a pharmacist and reviews a person's medicines and says, you know, we could probably get you off of that bad medicine and put you on something that is much safer and won't affect your memory. And we could also change this to that. And when we're done making these changes, what we look at is, have we made that person better? And the reason why your tax dollars are at work is because we can demonstrate that that makes people's memory better. And so, excuse me, looking at that list is incredibly important. And Kelly, did you put one of those in?
Yes. This is the infant study Dr. Greg is talking about, and it's wonderful. Good job.
By golly. So we're delighted with that. One of the other ways to do it as well, because you don't have to be in research, to have these things looked at, is one of the things to do is to go to your pharmacist and ask your pharmacist to look at the medication list and please circle anything that might be harmful for memory, number one. And number two, to look at any drug-drug interactions that are at that list. Because sometimes as we age, we end up with 4 or 5 doctors. And every time you go to visit the doctor, then there's another medicine added, another medicine added. And if you have 5 doctors and each of them put you on 4 medicines, you don't need to come here for dinner, right? Because you've already eaten about a pound of pills at home. And then, though, to take that list to the doctor and say, these have been identified, now let's talk about why these medicines are necessary or why they aren't. That's the way to manage these sorts of issues on your own. And I'm sorry.